Feeling sleepy? I'm your host, Mr. Creepy. Don't fall into the wishing well. Listen to my stories from hell. Ghosts in the afterlife. The werewolf who chomped his wife. A headless dentist on a ATV. The chicken corpse haunting KFC. Ever seen a vampire on a plane? A zombie slurping brains? While you're in your bedroom smoking Indo, didn't you notice the ghoul at your window? Sit back and relax your bones. Get onto your laptops or your phones. The YouTube address FYI is Mr. Creepy's time to die.
Bad evening. Tonight's story is about two security guards who worked in a city dump. Amongst all the garbage, they saw something that ended up being a bit of a tribulation. I worked security at a town dump. Even though the town wasn't that big, we'd sometimes get all sorts of characters visiting the dump late at night. Whether they were scavengers hoping to steal something valuable that was thrown away, or just some shady individuals that wanted to discard something after hours, it didn't matter. It was our job to make sure to keep everybody out when we were closed. That night so far had been pretty quiet. My co-worker Roy and I had been doing our rounds, checking the cameras and taking turns walking the perimeter. Aside from that, we were sitting inside the trailer that we used as our headquarters. We'd been passing the time eating junk food, drinking coffee, and watching YouTube on some of our monitors. As another hour passed, it was my turn to walk the perimeter. Everything looked nice and quiet as I walked along the fences. If I missed anything, Roy, who was looking at the CCTV, would alert me. But there didn't seem to be anything that looked out of the ordinary that night. I was just about to go back to the trailer when all of a sudden, I spotted something in the distance. I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at since it was dark besides the few lights on the compound. But from what I could tell, it looked to be an animal of some sort. It looked like a wolf, and the sight of its eyes glowing in the dark sent chills up my spine. I pointed my flashlight in its direction to get a better look, and just as I did, it started to scamper away. But from what little I was able to see, it was indeed some kind of canine. Living in the desert, we don't usually get wolves around these areas, but they do exist. I will say, however, even though I carry a gun, I was glad there was a fence between me and that creature. Upon returning to the trailer, I saw Roy busy watching another prank video on YouTube.
"Did you see the wolf?"
I asked him.
"What wolf?" "I think I saw a wolf at the east section."
Curious, we both brought up the footage from just a few minutes earlier, but what we would see would both shock us. There on the security footage wasn't some wolf, but a man who was naked with what looked like tribal tattoos scattered all along his body. And that wasn't even the weirdest thing. For some bizarre reason, he was on all fours. In fact, not only did we see him crawling in the security camera footage, but it also showed him scampering away on all fours as well when the light from my flashlight hit him.
What the hell?
I muttered.
So you saw a creepy naked guy?
Roy asked.
No, that is not what I saw. I saw some kind of wolf or large dog.
Like the ass he is, Roy started to snicker.
What? You think it's some kind of skinwalker or something?
I didn't even bother responding. I was too busy going over the footage from the other cameras. But there was nothing.
What the hell is going on?
I said out loud, confused at the situation. But before I could even dissect the security footage more, Ray spotted something on the monitor.
There! The creepy naked guy is back!
Unfortunately, he was. But this time, the man with the tribal tattoos was now walking upright inside the compound. It seemed as if he was looking for something. Not wanting to waste time, we quickly called it in. But instead of just waiting for the sheriff's department to arrive, we both made the decision to confront the intruder. I mean, it's not like he was carrying some unseen weapon, we both figured. Even though the two of us were armed, we were both still a little nervous about the situation. I mean, it wasn't exactly normal to just see some naked dude wandering around the town dump. Quickly but carefully, we both headed towards an area where we last saw the individual on the security cam. But upon arriving at the location, we were both in for the shock of our lives. Instead of confronting what we thought could be just some drunk nudist, we were met with the sight of something truly strange. Standing by a pile of garbage was what we could only describe as a wolf on its hind legs. But for some reason, something about it looked off. Something about the way it moved looked human. With its back to us, it looked like it was busy tearing away at discarded luggage. Neither Roy and I knew what to do, but I guess out of instinct, I found myself yelling, "Hey!" Almost instantly, I regretted that decision, because whatever the creature was turned around to look in our direction. Our blood grew cold when we finally had a good look at its face. It was like a wolf, but just like its body, something about its face looked human. Roy and I were frozen in place, not knowing if we should aim our guns at it or run away. But before we could make a decision, all of a sudden, the creature let out a blood-curdling scream towards our direction. Instinctively, we pulled out our guns and were just about to aim at it. However, the creature fell on all fours before scampering away. The only thing Roy and I could do was follow it with our flashlights before it disappeared into darkness. As soon as it did, we both didn't waste a moment running back to the trailer. For the next 20 minutes, Roy and I sat in the trailer, terrified as we waited for the sheriff's department. But what made the whole incident even more terrifying is that upon looking at the footage once again, it only showed what looked to be a naked man with tribal tattoos. How were we going to explain this to everybody? We had no idea. And if that wasn't enough, after doing a full search of the compound, the sheriff's department made a gruesome discovery. Inside the luggage that the intruder seemed to be trying to open was the severed parts of what looked to be a man that also had tribal tattoos.
Mr. Creepy here. Friends, we don't care what you thought of tonight's horror story. If you don't stab the like button and slash the subscribe bell, this will happen to you. No, 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 not my leg!